This year's recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize was just announced this morning, and the winner is?
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
There is the announcement just a short time ago in Oslo. Maria Corina Machado is the leader of Venezuela's main opposition party. She was awarded the prize for her work promoting democracy in her home country. The winner was notably not U.S. President Donald Trump, who has campaigned for it over the past several months. Now, the calls for him to win only intensified after Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of his Gaza peace plan. The only Canadian to have won the Nobel Peace Prize was Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson. He received it in 1957 for his role in deploying a UN emergency force to the Suez Canal. That was after following the Israeli invasion of Egypt. Well, let's talk a bit more about this year's winner, and we turn to CBC's Anna Cunningham, who's following the announcement from London. So, Anna, tell us more about Maria Corina Machado.
Morning, Natasha. Well, she is Venezuela's opposition leader. There are some who describe her as a fearless activist with a rock star appeal. We know that this is arguably the world's most prestigious prize. The Norwegian Nobel Committee have said that Machado is being honoured for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela, and also for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. Now, the Nobel Committee is apolitical, but it was deeply critical of Nicolás Maduro, the Venezuelan president, without actually naming him, describing Venezuela as a brutal authoritarian state suffering a humanitarian and economic crisis. And they said that Maria Corina Machado was one of the most extraordinary examples of civilian courage in Latin America in recent times. We know that she was barred from running in last year's presidential elections in Venezuela, which were internationally widely dismissed as neither free or fair. She was detained, then she was freed. But you can see in these images, she rallied huge crowds for the little-known opposition candidate, Edmundo Gonzalez. And that really did take the ruling party of Nicolás Maduro by surprise. He went on to win a third term, and those protests against the result were quashed by the authorities. Now, I mentioned that some see her as a rock star opposition leader. She largely dresses in white, and we've often seen her with multiple rosary beads around her neck, which are gifts from her fans who want to get a glimpse of her and touch her. She's actually now living in hiding, but she has stayed in Venezuela. She's in hiding because of threats to her life, but the fact she stayed in the country was something the Nobel Committee said had inspired millions. There will, of course, be one person who will be disappointed with this result. That is the US President Donald Trump. Let's just remind you of how keen President Trump has been to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. If you stop Russia and Ukraine, sir, you should be able to get the Nobel. I said, I stopped 7 wars.
But I stopped 7 wars, and 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years. They will never give me a Nobel Peace Prize. I deserve it, but they will never give it to me.
I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention.
Well, President Trump has not won this year. The Nobel Committee chair was asked about the focus being on the US president. Take a listen to what he said.
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
Now, Natasha, if you're wondering what reaction there has been from President Trump, we are still to hear from him directly, but a White House spokesperson has said on the Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. That's from the White House.
Anna Cunningham in London. Thank you, Anna.